Hello, everybody out there, the Pinnacle, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, etc. My name is Simon, and I have the pleasure of game mastering an actual play tonight of Savage Rifts Europa. Before we begin, I'd like to thank Pinnacle, I'd like to thank JM, and I'd like to thank Landauer, who's running tech for us, for making this happen. And I'd like to thank our two players for willing to put up with what may be coming for them this evening. To introduce myself, my name's Simon. I am a game reviewer, mild game author, including a Savage Worlds book for Odysseys and Overlords. I did part of the Bizarre Kingdoms and was actually on here back when that was kickstarting. And actual play host, I guess. Like I record them and put them up on YouTube with an occasional live one here and there on different channels, like this one. I'll have our players introduce themselves, and before we get into who you're playing, just maybe mention some of your experience with either Savage Worlds and or Rifts, but probably not Savage Rifts, because full disclosure, this is all three of our first time playing Savage Rifts. So this could be entertaining or painful, but I'm going to lean to the entertaining side of things. So why don't we start? Rob, do you want to lead us off?
My name's Rob Fisher. I work in the film and television industry, and I've been playing Rifts for many years, although it's been a long time since I played. I looked up, and the Rifts Atlantis book came out in '92, the original Rifts Atlantis book, and I'd been playing Rifts for quite a few years when that book arrived. So playing Rifts, very familiar with the scenario, but this is my first time with Savage Worlds ever. So I'm excited to give it a try.
Awesome. Okay. And Ray.
Hi, I'm Ray. I would say my experience with Rifts is I played a little bit in high school, but haven't really touched it since because I wasn't always a big fan of the mechanics of the system. But I love the setting. The setting is fantastic. Yeah. And as for Savage Worlds experience, I played a little bit of it, like once or twice, but have not the experience of it either. So I'm definitely really looking forward to doing this.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a fun little system. It's a fun system, and I think we're gonna have some fun with it. So my own experience with Savage Worlds and Rifts as well. Obviously, I mentioned I wrote a little bit of a book using Savage Worlds, but I've also run it a little and played it a little, and that's been a little while since I did the both of them. And then Rifts, I had the core book, and it was kind of awesome, but at the time, kind of difficult. And then I got into Vampire, and that all kind of went to the side. So now back in a not Twilight years, but somewhere around there. I have the energy and focus, and we all have the very cool rule set of Savage Worlds to experience Rifts. Okay, so this scenario tonight is taking content from the Europa book, currently in Kickstarter. If you have not already Kickstarted and you're watching, I would suggest going to Kickstart. It's got 48 hours left to do it, because it's got some really cool stuff in it. I'm not going to, wax poetic about what is in there, but we're going to try and showcase a little bit of it tonight, but no spoilers. So I'm not going to, put up stat blocks or anything for you. Now, of our two players, only one is using a Rifts Europa iconic framework. You might be able to see it on the screen. The other one is not, but I'm going to have them both introduce their characters. The basic premise of the scenario is that they are part of a non-canon Aaron Tarn expedition that has been going through the continent for a little while, and inspired by the upcoming frozen wasteland that will become Canada, where Rob and I are. Russia seemed like a great place to set this adventure. I took inspiration from the weather, but also something else. And if you notice it, I'm not being particularly subtle about it, feel free to mention it. I'm not, trying to pull a fast one on anybody. Okay, so Rob, why don't you tell us about your character?
All right. I'm playing Sir Orlean. He's a cyber knight, which is one of the core frameworks that you can take from the Savage Rifts. He is an older knight. He's been around for a while. He knows a little bit of everything. And it's slowing him down a little bit, but not by much. He's still a fearsome knight in his own right. And he believes very strongly in the code of the cyber knights. He tries to live it every day, and he tends to try to convince other people that they should adopt this way of thinking. It is the right way to live.
Excellent. Okay, and Ray, why don't you tell us about your character?
Sure. I am playing a Chanku hatchling named Alakos Matidis. The Chanku is a variant of the dragon hatchling. So the main differences between them is that, let's start with they're a flightless dragon that has, I think, 8 arms, 8 legs. They're smaller and weaker than a regular dragon, but they've been in hiding for a very long time because they were the ones that kind of found Atlantis originally. They talked to 2 Atlanteans, magic tattoos, and so for those familiar with dragon hatchlings, the main differences are that Chanku are not quite as strong. They're not. They also start off a little bit older, so they're a little bit more experienced. So I am somewhere between 1 and 3 years old as a character, which compared to a dragon hatchling, which is usually a few days to a few weeks old, it's quite a big difference. Chanku are very big on magic tattoos since they invented it. So I start with a good number of magic tattoos already, which I'm sure we'll see in play. I cannot fly, but I do have full metamorphosis. So I can change my form to any form and keep it up as long as I can. And what else do I have? That's different. And yeah, I think that's about it in terms of differences. So in terms of my character on the expedition, so one of the big things with Chanku is that they very much do not like taking dragon form. So they choose someone and they say they'll role play as what they decide that they want to be. So on this expedition, I'll be basically be here as the party medic, basically.
Nice. All right. Which could be needed. Who knows? Let's find out. All right. I think we've covered the basics here. So Chanku are an iconic framework in Europa, and you'll get to have access to all that stuff when the book comes out, and possibly earlier if you kickstart it. I can't remember. I'd have to look at it again, but maybe pretty quickly. Okay, so let's begin. You got your dice, and I got my notes, and we're going to start. Now this is a self-inspired scenario. Not entirely sure how long it'll take or how quickly they'll, ruin things or be ruined by things, and also because I'm not a math guy, so kind of trying to scale toughnesses and really get a sense of what's going to hurt them or destroy them. We're going to find out. And maybe we'll roll things back a little bit. Maybe a temporal wizard might pop in, and I'd have to actually look again to see if they can fully control time. But maybe we'll have a hand of fate and rewind things if I realize I've killed everybody in a very quick order. All right. So to begin, I'm going to read an introductory prologue written by Aaron Tarn. our non-canon Aaron turn, because all of our stuff starts off with that. It'll also help set the stage. The cold here is unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's not just the biting chill. It feels alive, pressing on your chest, settling deep in your bones. This is Russia, a land where the cataclysm's scars are hidden beneath layers of snow and ice. We've come chasing stories of a forgotten city, frozen in time, a place where echoes of the old world might still remain, waiting for someone to listen. Our group is prepared, at least as much as anyone can be, for the unknown. Sir Orlean performs his oblations and reminds us all of the moral heights to which we are obligated to reach. Alekos is minding the rest of the group, tending to frostbite and other wounds or injuries we've received along this travel, sprained ankles, and so on. The terrain is merciless. There are endless snowdrifts that obscure the path ahead, but the promise of uncovering something extraordinary keeps us moving forward. Tonight, as we make camp under a vast, silent sky, I reflect on the risks we've taken to get here. The weight of history lies heavy in this land, and I wonder what kind of story awaits us in the frozen expanse. A tale of triumph? A warning? Whatever we find, I will record it. For this is what I do. I seek the truth and preserve it, no matter how cold or bitter it might be. Okay, so you awaken to a bitter, cold snowstorm. You feel it battering against your tents, shaking them about. The only thing that seems to be keeping them on the ground is your bodies and any of your gear inside there. The stakes have been pulled up, ripped as the covers have been torn away by the wind. You can hear something on the wind in the blizzard. You're not sure what, of course, but it sounds like voices. We're going to say you two can share a tent. And Aaron is another tent.
Okay.
What do you do?
Well, I'm going to assume that with with how cold it is, I'm probably in my EBA armor. Like I'm keeping it on, right?
Sleeping in your armor. Yeah. In this case,
I mean,
acceptable.
Yes, it's may not be the most comfortable, but it's it's better than the cold.
Yeah.
But yes, if I'm hearing something, I'm going to first like sally out to try to see what it is, and I'll be but paying particular attention to where Aaron's tent is and anyone else. Like I want to make sure that if there's an attack imminent, that I'm protecting the people, the other people in the group.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm probably more focused more outwards.
Okay. So the two of you step out into the Ray. Alekos doesn't really have much in the way of armor in his human form, right? He has was it huntsman?
Yeah, I have medium huntsman, which
Okay.
I probably don't have on if I was sleeping.
Right.
I'm probably just in like a tank top and like boxers.
Presumably the expedition knows something of your true nature, or at least knows that you are somebody who can resist the elements.
I'd probably pass as like some kind of like true Atlantean, something like that.
Yep. Okay.
So be more than enough reason.
The two of you burst out of the tent. One head to toe clad in his cyber armor. The other one in a tank top and boxer shorts, pants. You can barely see in front of you. The snow is just rushing by. It is a blanket across the land. It is a wall of white. You're pretty sure that you could even lose your hand if you held it out far enough in front of you. It's threw off the virtual background there. Aaron's tent is next to yours, and you can still see it's there, but you don't see one to the other side. And of course, you can't see in front of you, so who knows what's happened to the rest of the expedition.
I'm gonna make up bodies. I have infravision, so I can see. I can see.
Okay. So there's a body in Aaron's tent, and you're seeing. I think they would cool pretty quickly out here, so you're not picking up any other readings.
I'll let Sorority know that. I don't see. Something's wrong. Like I don't detect any body heat in the other tents.
That's not good. I'll call into Aaron's tent. Like I'm assuming these are sort of like, higher tech, but still basically the kind of tent you can just call through, right?
Yeah,
sure.
Sure.
So I'll just say, my lady Aaron, there seems to be a snowstorm that's hiding us from the rest of our group. I heard voices in the distance. We're gonna check it out. Are you all right?
Well, for now, the tent seems to be secure, but I don't know for how long.
Okay.
How's the rest of the team?
We haven't found them yet. We're going to need to locate them. I would get into any armor you have and be prepared just in case the worst happens.
I understand. All right, I'll be prepared.
Yeah, I'll
don't
probably
go
do the
too.
same. I'll probably go to my tent, grab my stuff now. Now that my initial curiosity sated.
Don't go too far. We don't want to have you lose your bearings. The small amount I peeked out makes it pretty clear that I'm not going to be able to. Well, we can't really navigate in this. And you start to hear the voices again. What languages do you speak?
I only speak American, essentially. I think is what they call it, English.
I speak Dragonese/Elven, and I speak very, very broken American.
Okay. So you don't understand. It does sound like it's someone actually speaking, but a multitude of voices. And on top of that, they sound like the wind.
Does speak language let me understand a language that even if I don't know what it is?
What does it say? Because I'm willing to be flexible on that.
It just says the power allows a character to speak, read, and write a sapient language other than his own. A raise on the skill roll lets the user understand slang and dialect.
Knock yourself out.
All right, we'll cast it. I did not get a raise. Actually, no. I forgot. I can explode the dice. I definitely got a raise. So yeah, I mean that I don't think it matters. That's as I can speak slang and dialect. But
Okay.
I succeeded in the cast.
It is in Russian. An older dialect of it. I mean, your knowledge of the area isn't like vast, right? It's not majorly academic. Kalikos?
I have no knowledge of anything.
Okay. So I would tell you whether or not it was kind of native to the region, but
I just understand it now. Basically, that's pretty much it.
So you're hearing in Old Russian. We trusted her. She will not let us leave. Then what sound like cries for help. Laughter, but not. amused, the laughter of one that's seen too much and has had their mind shattered. There are angry voices, frustrated, impotently furious voices on this wind. Impotently furious or furiously impotent? Impotently furious. Now, what other resistances do the two of you have against, say, psychic stuff?
Against psychic stuff, I don't think I have anything.
Yeah, I don't have any additional,
Yeah.
bonuses.
Okay.
Just double checking. Unless it comes, if it's psychic, if it's coming from technology, I have things. But if it's not
from technology,
Yeah, I don't have anything.
So you're not going to have any mechanical hindrances from this, but as these voices sort of go in one ear and out the other, whether you understand them or not, you start to, and whether or not this even emotionally affects you, you start to feel an icy hand sort of clutching inside your chest. You feel that paranoia, that fear, that almost panicked desperation, much like anyone less heroic or less of a wild card would, were they caught out in a storm like this. Even to the extent of occasional headaches and nausea. Not quite so bad where you've got to throw up, but definitely close to it.
Okay. Well, I will. That's unusual for me, but I'll take note of it. But just try to soldier on. I'm gonna grab a flare from my survival pack and leave it lit. Like I'll light it and leave it lit here, just to try to make finding our way back easier if we need to.
Right.
Especially with his infravision.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that. But then I think we're gonna need to head out to try to see what's up with these voices.
Okay.
I'm assuming, Alcos, that you sort of translate for me a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me know what they're saying. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So we will cautiously head forward, but I'm not going to, draw a weapon or anything yet.
Okay. Or create a weapon. Okay. Make, if you would be so kind, survival rules.
Survival. Okay. And that is the die in our survival plus our wild die, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I get a 2.
Okay. Ray?
I don't have the skill, so I get a 1.
All right. I'm going to presume that you're not foolish enough to go where you can't see the flare with his infravision.
Correct.
Which you realize at a certain point might have been the only thing that kept you from wandering in complete circles and getting lost. I mean, let's be fair. A strong survivalist would still have difficulty out here, but it definitely trumped your skills on this. So
as soon as I realize I'll be walking in circles, I'm gonna cast Boost Straight.
Cast what?
Boost Straight and get the survival skill.
Yeah. All right.
And I am going to activate an ability that's one of my Cyber Knight iconic edges. I'm going to use Cyberkinetic Awareness, which basically I reach out and I become more aware of all the technology around me up to smart distance. And from a game mechanical's perspective, when people are trying to use technology against me, I get a -2 on. They get -2 on their trait rolls against me, but In this case, I'm actually just trying to, it says I stretch out my senses to understand all the electronic technology he's engaged with. So I'm trying to use it, in a more narrative style to like be like, hey, is there some technology out here that I can feel at smarts times 2 distance? My smarts is a D6. So range 12.
Make your rolls.
Oh, is that a notice roll or?
Yeah, let's make it a notice roll.
Okay.
Should I make another survival roll? I got a raise on my.
Yeah, the circumstances have changed. You now are better at survival.
Yes.
So that's a 4 for me.
Okay. Cool. Success. And
that is a 5 for me on survival. So I succeeded.
Also success. Okay. You're 12. You're picking up any tech that might be in Aaron's tent from where you are. But you're honestly not picking up a whole lot else. Now that might change as you move, as we just had a successful survival roll. Keeping the flare in sight, and now also using a beacon of technology to orient yourselves, you push out into the storm. And it's not easy. This is, deep, deep snow. It's wise to poke the ground in front of you to make sure
that. It's not relevant right now because we can't see anything, but I do automatically detect. I do automatically know what's supernatural that's in my line of sight. As part of being a dragon.
Oh, okay. Well, this is pretty supernatural.
Supernatural creatures, I think, is the wording. Let me check.
Okay. So you are sensing something, and it's sort of swirling throughout.
Yeah.
The blizzard.
I sense supernatural beings within my line of sight with a notice check.
Okay. But you're not getting they're moving too fast for you to get a lock on them just yet. But moving forward, or you assume forward, at least forward away from the beacons, you start to, you think you might see something up ahead. But it's unless you go right up to it, you can't get a good look at it from where you are. The beacon is almost faded. And you're picking up no heat signatures in front of you.
That's not great, because if they were being protected by armor that was hiding their heat signatures, I'd be sensing it. And if they're giving off heat, you'd be sensing it. So whatever's out there is supernatural, to say the least. And somehow surviving this cold.
Yeah.
So
I kind of want to know what it is.
Right, you have curiosity, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes. GMs out there, don't you love it when players have curiosity?
It is my favorite flaw.
They just make themselves go and investigate stuff. Okay, so you do worry, though, that if you go too much further, you are going to lose track of what's behind you.
All right. I do have a radio that has a 5-mile radius as part of the gear. So I'm going to radio to Erin just to let her know that we're basically right at the edge. And there is something.
We can drop another flare here as well.
Oh, yeah. That's another great idea. Yeah.
What's that?
We drop another flare here.
Yeah.
We're at the edge. We drop another flare right here.
You could even drop a radio.
Yeah.
But I will radio Erin to let her know that we found something we believe is supernatural, but we haven't been able to really get close enough yet. We're moving on a little bit, but we're dropping flares to track our progress.
Be careful out there. I'd like to see you come back.
Fear not.
I'd also
my
like to
lady.
not be alone in this blizzard, to be perfectly honest with you. But,
Fear not, my lady. We won't travel so far that we can't come back to aid you if needed.
Excellent. Well, if you are delayed, I have my trusty mace. So moving forward, you realize it's a building. And it. Oh, I want a good picture. Not one that I can necessarily show everyone because I don't know any of the rights of the ones I'm looking at, but it is. It becomes pretty apparent it's a church. It's not a big one, so definitely not a cathedral, and definitely not the type that you may have seen in ruins in various places back home or as you've passed through this continent. It seems like a small village church made of stone.
Okay. Now this is odd because we haven't found any of our expedition mates either, right? Like there should be other people.
You would think that, wouldn't you?
Well,
but I like to simplify things and remove all the NPCs if I don't need them.
I will. Well, I think we're definitely going to have to investigate, but I'm not sure if entering unannounced would be proper. We don't yet know if they're hostile. This is their home.
No heat signatures again, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, let's knock them.
Okay. I am. I'm absolutely going to do it. I will knock soundly on the church door. I'm not just going to barge in because I am honorable and he is young and we both have really high toughness.
You have to set a good example too.
Exactly.
He's barely even 3 years old.
Yeah. The
There's
old
no
knight
answer.
and the young dragon.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Any authors out there? There's a concept for you. Wait, wasn't that Dragonheart or something like that? No, he's old there too. Oh, well. Okay, so you knock soundly on the church door to no response.
Okay. And I'm guessing we can't hear any more of those voices that were speaking in Russian, right?
You've been hearing them the whole time.
Right. So they're coming from like non-distinct places.
It sounds like they're on the wind.
All right. Okay. I'm going to spend one ISP and I'm going to activate deflection as a power. And I will succeed with a 7. Actually, because I get bonuses as an innate power and personal and all that kind of stuff, it actually comes with a raise.
All right.
So
Nice.
Succeeds with a raise. And that's deflection, I said, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll have that up. And then I'm going to boldly enter the church. I'm not trying to hide my presence. I'm not trying to be sneaky about it. But I am going to be obviously cautious, in case they're about to throw up some bad news my way.
I walk behind them and shout in Russian, "Anyone home?"
So pushing the doors open, well, door, let's be fair. It's just a door. There is some resistance, but you give a good enough shove that, how to describe it? There's a thud crack and the resistance goes away. Now, of course, you can kind of see why. Stepping into the church, you see quite a few, at least 20, maybe, by a very quick estimate, rounding to the nearest 10. Frozen, well, corpses they must be, but people frozen. And you can see some just frozen in place. You can see some of them, they're very well preserved. Some are praying, some were even clawing at the doors, and those are the ones you knocked over. There's even it looks like a couple trying to pull blankets over them, and you see others sort of huddled over what must be loved ones. But everybody in here, their faces locked in a visage of terror, sorrow, some anger as well.
I'm gonna try to see if I can figure out how long ago they've been frozen.
Okay, how are you going to do that?
Using healing, using my
Okay.
medicine knowledge.
And then, sorry, I have to talk very quietly because Rob's on him. He's playing a game.
Let's see.
His microphone is open, so I have to talk kind of quietly.
Someone's got a live mic.
So,
Back
Yeah.
on.
I was kind of,
Oh, I mean, just something in case of conversation.
I just
Square.
checked in on her, but I need a new mic because this mic is actually too good. Like it picks up noise in my
Mhm.
entire house.
Yeah, I mean they're directional mics that help reduce that. I got a 7, so this is not a race, it's rank success.
Okay. How long have they been frozen dead for?
I mean, this I'm not doing like an autopsy. This is like a cursory.
No, cursor look.
Okay.
A while.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
medical term for it.
Just make it easier for you. Like
Some
I'm
time.
not doing
They
an
are
autopsy or anything.
frozen solid, not just cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously, but this could have been. I mean, not being a doctor, this could be a month, a year. At what point is it, just preserved?
I'm also a very new medic, knowledge-wise.
Yeah. So,
Being so young, not exactly enough time to go to medical school.
yeah.
Well, I think as he's looking at them, like I'm going to stay close to him, but I am going to look around the church just to see if there's anything unusual here. Again, it just seems odd to me that there's zero technology. But how do you survive this without technology? Well, evidently you don't.
And clearly, none of them did. Okay.
So would that be a notice check to kind of search the church a little bit?
No, it's not something which I'm not gonna have you roll for it because there's no like secret passageway under anything. There's nothing really hidden in that sense. Searching through here, the people are, well, it's hard to tell just because you don't know. But some seem to be wearing simpler clothing, others maybe more elaborate outfits. So you could surmise that some might have had more money than others, or just different circumstances. Not knowing anything about post-cataclysm fashion, it's very hard to pinpoint in Russia. It's very hard for you to pinpoint when this may have happened based on that. And they're all a bit too ice covered, unless you really want to like make an effort to dig into pockets and things like that.
No, I wouldn't. I'm not grave robbing. No.
This isn't D&D. Come on.
Okay, so this is definitely odd, but the church itself seems to have stood up well. Like it doesn't have like holes in the roof. It doesn't have.
Oh no, it's still intact, but
It
it's
is
not.
kind of decrepit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not in
Okay.
great shape.
Like, would this be a better staging area than just the random tents? Is what I'm thinking. I'm like, should we be bringing Aaron here? Well, I mean, I guess that's something. Alikos, do we think that it would be safer to pack up our tents and bring Aaron here while we investigate? It seems to be the only structure we've seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Do you want to be in a tent out in the blizzard, or do you want to share a dilapidated church with a bunch of frozen corpses? It's really your call.
Let's see if we can find anything really magical here first. So
Okay.
I'm gonna, just to make sure there are no hidden surprises here. I'll cast Detect Arcana and start patrolling the church and seeing if I can sense anything magical.
Okay. Okay.
That's a 5. That succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull up the text to tell you what it does.
Oh no, I looked it up.
Okay.
So I got it right in front of me. I wanted to double check because it's all supernatural things, including stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, even including invisible, all that stuff.
But it doesn't tell you what. Oh no, with a raise you would know what.
Yeah.
You know the general type of enchantment and so on. And probably I would say the source.
Right now I'm mostly just concerned if there is anything at all, because if it is, it's probably not safe.
Yeah.
Just to tell Aaron to come here.
You're getting that
Body will
vibe
come
off of
afterwards.
the entire church. It's a very ambient vibe, but it is sort of all encompassing to the point where it's actually even hard to tell, are the people enchanted as well or not? And the source is not from here. It feels like this is within the effect.
Probably safer
that was
to not
worth
tell
the
him to come
raid.
here unless we know what this is.
What's that?
I said it's probably safer to not tell Aaron to come if we don't know what this is.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree, but we should definitely investigate further. I think you mentioned there was no obvious like secret compartments or anything to find, but is there a basement to this church? Is it like a one-room church?
Yeah,
I'll check around the pulpit, the dais, to see if there's anything there, religious symbols that I might recognize, or other maybe whatever the equivalent to the Bible is for these folks.
Well, so that's the thing, is I don't know too much about the treatment of religion post-cataclysm on Rifts Earth, nor do I know if there's a source for that. If it's been touched on at any point. Anyone in the chat know? Like, people with deeper Rifts knowledge, does it ever come up? Because I can tell you, Rob, what what you would see, but it might mean nothing to your character.
Right.
It's an Orthodox church.
Cool.
But a little different.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a full on.
And I don't personally have a cult, so I don't actually have a lot of background in this. But I was like, I was just trying to see whether there was anything that might be standing out.
There's no elder signs.
I actually do have a D4 cult.
Okay. No statues of octopus-headed individuals,
right?
Or frost demon kind of things.
Yeah.
It seems a pretty unassuming place of worship. That is interesting. I'm going to have to look into culture, philosophy, and academic thought.
I always feel like religion's one of those things where every table needs to decide how
Sure.
much they want. So it's like, you know,
Well, I just mean like what would have survived? What wouldn't?
Yeah.
How? What form would it take? In on Rift's Earth, with all this stuff. But I guess I can understand then why it hasn't really been touched on.
No.
Okay, so yes, you don't, nothing jumps out as being similar to anything that you might have encountered over your career in places where, people did worship DBs of excessive power or anything like that. None of it fits a pattern like that. I guess that's probably the best way to put it.
All right.
So hypotheses and, surmising, but.
Alikos, are you able to kind of try to center out what the source of the supernatural is? If it's not just coming from, if it's kind of they're part of a broader thing, would we be able to track it to the source using your abilities?
I don't know. It kind of feels like it's ambient. I don't sense a general direction where it's coming from. I can look around, see if I can try to find it.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like it's the storm itself to me.
Very, very likely.
Okay. And we didn't get here by following the voices because the voices are all around us. I'm not sure if there's much we could do here. Normally I'd want to bury the dead, but that wouldn't really be a possibility here.
No, not really. I guess we'd spend a lot of time doing it.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could dig a grave outside. That's what we want.
Yeah, I mean the ground would be frozen, but I guess that's nothing to you, really. And there's no one else around.
I don't think frozen ground's much of an issue.
Yeah.
Cairns?
Yeah, I would like to do that. I think it would be appropriate to try to bury the dead. I don't know whether their belief system involves that, but certainly just leaving them frozen here in their final moments doesn't seem to be the right thing to do.
All right.
I remember
So
my shovel is included in the survival kit.
I was thinking that since it's just the two of us, you'd transform because you could make short work of that.
I mean, I can make short work of that without transforming anyway. Like I'm still just a strong human form.
Are you digging a hole or are you breaking the church apart to use its stones in a cairn? What's the?
No, I'm thinking a hole outside. I'll make a proper grave.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's got the strength that he can do that. I doubt I'll be much help in this.
I have D12 plus 2 strength.
Okay. You're the ideas person. He's the doer.
Well, I hope that someday my actions speak loudly, but he's definitely the brawn.
Yeah, I definitely have the brawn part covered.
All right.
Nothing about a shovel, but yeah.
Look, you can find something
to
dig with. You have D12 plus 2 strength. I'm not too concerned.
Frozen ground is not going to be much of an issue for me.
Okay. So you dig a large grave, which I figure is probably big enough to fit the entire population of the church.
Mm-hmm. And then my order is kind of secular, but I would still have a reverence for life and respect. So
sure.
As I move the bodies, I will lay my hands upon them respectfully and even say words that, we are going to lay to rest, not so much prayers, but definitely speaking to the corpses as if, in a reverential manner, just as I'm moving them, because I don't want to be like, we all know undead exist. Let's not make some by being dicks.
Why don't you each have a Benny?
All right.
I like that you're taking the time to not just move on and so on. So
All right. So once they're buried, I'm not sure if there's much else to really do here. So should we head back to Aaron? This didn't lead us to finding any more of our companions, and finding them really should be our main priority.
Agreed.
All right.
We haven't seen any tracks of them or anything.
No. But I doubt in this storm tracks would last very long.
Yeah, I doubt they will either.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to head back then. We'll try to track our way back, picking up the flare on the way, and then we'll head back to camp. And then, I mean, we were trying to find the voices originally, and when we found that church. But I mean, now that we sort of realize the voices are coming from all around us, I think we should just sort of pick a different direction and sort of head off in that, using the same technique, putting down a flare, heading out to where we can see the flare, just so that we can kind of continue the search in the storm to see if there's anything else coming up.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming that when we made camp, we weren't in the middle of a blizzard, right? Yeah. Anyways, we'll keep the search going. There's no reason not to.
And so are you going back to just
Aaron?
Update Aaron?
Yeah, we'll go back to exactly, but trying in a different direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Survival roll.
All right. So that is a 5 for me.
Mm-hmm.
If he looks like he knows what he's doing, I'm not going to bother boosting.
Sure.
And trying.
Okay. So, all right. So you get back to the tent and Aaron, who is all right. Like, tell me what you know, and you relate what I assume you don't hold anything back.
No. No, we have no reason to.
And she's in favor of you going back out to look for the rest of them.
Yeah.
Especially as you see that look in her eyes, and she starts digging through her pack for a journal to start writing.
Yeah.
She's not going to forget this. We're not going to forget to put it down.
Now, while we're here, I'll actually ask her opinion of this kind of supernatural blizzard, because she's extremely well read and extremely well traveled. So, you know, what are her thoughts on this?
Well, it's magical, you said.
Yeah.
Or at least there's
the whole area,
some supernatural power active in the area now, whether that's psychic or magical.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen.
And she herself is not a magic user, right? She's only a scholar, correct?
Yeah, I think she's just her class has always been just rogue scholar.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Watch her be a dragon later on. The last book for Rifts. So if it was an ambient thing and it felt like they were caught on as part of it, then it must come from a central area. Maybe there's there could be a nexus point nearby, or something that has a strong PPE charge or anything to sort of spread out. Or I've seen some rifts where they just sat open and spewed out whatever was on their world into ours. Perhaps this is at the center. This is a gate to a dimension of ice and cold, or something else.
Right. All right. Well,
and there are any number of beings that could also power something like this.
Okay. Well, I guess the search is all we have right now, so we'll keep at it. You know.
Good luck out there.
Okay.
Okay, so you made your survival roll.
Yeah, I made a survival roll.
Okay. So you set out, and you're doing the same method, dropping a flare at the edge of where Alikos can still pick it up.
Yeah.
And it starts small. Not like when you do notice, you wonder if how gradual it's been, how long this has been going on. But the storm is starting to die down. The wind is less, and the snow drifts are not as high or deep. And you're not entirely sure. Do you have timepieces? Presumably you have some sort of timepiece. You've been walking for an hour. How long does your detect arcana last? It's
very short amount of time.
Yeah, detect is short. Okay.
Yeah, conceal's still a long one.
Yeah, but even then, it would be over by now. So yeah, maybe about an hour, maybe a little bit more. Something in the chat about religion.
I was reading that.
Yeah, right. Of course, there are druids in England, and they are here. So I just didn't set this in England. I was going to, but I'll tell you about that after. So about an hour, and then you find yourself in the clear. Except if you look behind you, you can see it's still raging. But you're in an eye, perhaps an eye of the storm. And you're not the only thing in the eye of the storm. Down below you, you're a little thankful that you had a bit of lead to this because you're more or less on the edge of a cliff. There's a city. Well, a smaller city, large town, something in that vein, sort of spread out in the valley. It ranges from some simple-looking houses to slightly larger ones. It's relatively ordered in its layout. Maybe not full-on city planner, let's make a grid kind of thing, but organized-ish. There is snow all over the ground, of course. It's not empty of snow, but the storm is not raging. And you do see, ice on the rooftops and things like that. But what's most notable is in the center of it is a large, well, you could only call it a palace. It's more of a spire palace. So it isn't like a big sprawling thing, but there are minarets and such as you go up, and it does appear to be made entirely of ice. There is because the storm is gone, the sun does come down and it reflects off that. In fact, you're getting a lot of glare off the town below, but you've got visor kind of things. You can sunglasses, snow glasses, stuff like that.
Yeah, EVA suits.
Yeah. You don't. It's maybe a little too far away to see if there's anybody there, but you're not seeing traffic. No vehicles, from the simplest cart to the most elaborate tank or hover vehicle or anything like that. You're not seeing crowds of people walking around.
Yeah. All right. So, how far is the climb down to where the city's at?
Well, scanning about, you think you see what might be a path. It's not the most ideal path, but there is something going down the side of the hill, mountain, into the valley.
Right.
The drop is far enough, but then again, I don't know. Like, I guess MDC armor just absorbs kinetic energy as well. Otherwise, you could be knocked off a cliff and pulped inside it, rather than have it broken through.
Yeah.
But you can find a way down.
All right. Well, we'll radio Erin again just to let her know where we're at, because with these supernatural occurrences, you never know when the radios are going to give out. And then I think we should head down and explore.
Yeah.
There's a curiosity hindrance or merit, virtue, bonus, whatever you want to call it.
The Cybernite tenant that basically says you should avoid being sneaky is something that's I'm like, oh my God, it's been so long since I played a character that doesn't just automatically stealth.
Yeah. Breaking
And
type.
being young, I'm like, why be sneaky? Also, being super tough and not worrying about anything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, having all that MDC is, even having MDC armor is still nice. Okay. You reach the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the edge of the town, you can get a better look at things. And similarly to the church, there are people about, frozen in place. Their last moments broadcasting on their face. Some even so frozen that they're mid-run, looking back over their shoulder, up on one foot.
So this was
so
a flash
firmly. Yeah, very, very similarly. There's that disaster movie, which I've only seen a moment of, but there's an ice wall that comes up on a beach.
Yeah.
And then as it hits people, they just flash freeze. It's very much like that, but
a
little more see-through.
Right.
You can see the horror on their faces.
Right. What technology level did this town appear to be? Are we seeing cars, vehicles also frozen, that sort of thing, or are they peasanty and pitchforks and hoes and stuff?
Well, you've been around Aaron long enough to pick up a thing or two. There are some signs that there is a tech level or let's just call it a tech level that would reflect maybe around the time of the cataclysm.
Okay.
So the late 20th, early 21st, mid 21st century. I forget the exact date.
But there's vehicles on the ground.
There are vehicles on the ground, though. Do either of you have anything? Do either of you have repair?
No.
I do not.
You don't, but you would. You have some
Yeah,
special
I have
relationship
common
with
knowledge,
technology.
right? So I have a common
Yeah.
knowledge towards knowing like what the basics of stuff is. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, in this case, maybe Alekos being only 3 might not know some of this, but it's some of the vehicles have been repaired.
Okay.
But not obviously not with their original materials.
Right.
And that's about it. I mean, you're not a mechanic. You don't know if this will if it would still run, or if this runs on grain alcohol or whatever. But it would look like they found vehicles from before and managed to get them going in some fashion.
And more specifically, we're not seeing any like flying bikes or like, personal
No.
hover vehicles or any crazy things like that.
No, none of the higher tech stuff that you'd see.
And none of these people are armored, or are some of them wearing like basic bushman armor and stuff like that? Or
it looks like there are, as you look a little closer, there are people who, they are armed, but they don't have them out. They're not drawn.
What kind of weapons? Like
Usually
infantry weapons? Modern weapons.
It's a mix. They look to be, you have just traveled through a fair bit of continental Europe. They are not mega damage weapons, that's for sure. Some of them are just like clubs, batons, things like that, pistols, occasional like assault rifle, and so on. These people are uniformed.
Okay. I'll check for insignia or anything like that.
There's a 8-pointed star, like a compass star, so the cross and then the cross kind of thing, on their shoulders.
All right. Could I make like a battle roll maybe to see if I recognize the insignia? Or a common knowledge roll maybe?
You don't need to make the roll.
Right.
You don't recognize anything.
Right.
It's not telling.
Right.
I guess. So it's not like you found like an ancient order of cyberknights or anything like that.
Right.
That has been spoken of in myth and legend. It's a star.
Yeah. Okay.
Silvery.
Yeah. All right. I think we should try to find like a town hall or a if there's a barracks or something here. That's the most likely place to have records of what's going on here.
So a big building.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, you mentioned that the sun was out here and stuff like that, but the temperature is still much too low for us to have to worry about these guys thawing, right? Like it's not like the sun's out yet. Yeah. Okay.
No.
All right. So so let's look for something that would look like a town hall or a barracks or a sheriff's office, something that would have, records, town records and stuff.
Yeah.
Hell, even a library.
Look around for any large, fancy-looking building. That's pretty much what I got.
Besides the tower.
Oh yeah, the tower. Well, let's go to the tower.
Oh, okay. Not looking for a town hall or anything. You're going to go straight for the tower.
Well, the tower. Describe the tower again. Sorry, just like, is it like a bell tower or?
No, it's like a large, pointy tower of ice.
Oh, tower of ice.
It's not like a straight single thing. It has, built kind of buildings about it. It's just not. It's taller than it is wider.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? Should we start with the village's town hall, or should we head straight to the massive tower of ice? Alekos?
I don't think I've ever been in a town hall, so I don't know what's in it. but we can certainly try. I'm curious to see maybe to find him one.
All right, then that's what we'll do.
All right.
We will stick with the town hall then.
Okay. All right. Could you please make notice rolls?
It'll be a 5.
That's my notice. D6 plus 2.
Oh, +2. Nice.
Yeah, I have alertness.
Right.
That's a raise for me.
All right. Okay. Well, so you definitely notice this and pick up on it before Sir Orlean, but he still notices it too. As you are walking down the sort of main road towards what looks to be a larger, more official looking building, you sense some movement. You see some movement, and from between some of these buildings come a number of how to best describe it, amalgamated people. They're coated in a sheen of ice, but they are clearly made up of maybe even some of the people you've passed already.
Right.
So you are not surprised. And is there even anything for a raise on that? Well, you're still going to get an action card. Okay. So here's combat, and hopefully where this does not slow down all that much. As mentioned in the chat, but to reiterate, we are using Theater of the Mind here, and everyone's rolling their own dice and using the honor system because I don't care if they cheat. Like, you're only cheating yourself or whatever. Like, honestly, who cares? Distances, et cetera, we're going to kind of just eyeball, hand wave. They are close enough that you can close with them. They are close enough that you can shoot them, / far away enough that you can shoot them. They would be at, I guess, medium range to start.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get into the. There it is. Into the flow of things. Where is my? Okay. So initiative. I'll draw cards for you.
Okay.
And draw a card for them with my deck of cards. Okay. Oh, poor news. So Rob, you got an 8 of hearts.
Okay.
Ray, you got a 6 of hearts. And they got an ace of diamonds. Because you got that raise, Ray, I'll let you draw a second card if you'd like.
I mean, it doesn't matter. If I go first, my action would be, "Hello, do you speak English?" I'm a pacifist.
Well, it's a Queen of Spades anyway. I did it. Yeah. I did it for you. Okay, so they do go first.
Now, can he detect supernatural evil as a dragon? Like, would he know if this is a supernatural evil? Not evil? Okay.
I just know it's supernatural.
Okay.
Yeah. It is. All right.
I imagine it's supernatural if I didn't bother asking.
Yeah.
I would certainly hope so.
I don't know, man. Things got weird after the cataclysm. Okay. So they act first, and there are 5 of them. And they charge in towards you. I want to pull up my stats for things here. Okay. So they rush in and close with the two of you, making sort of pummeling at you with either heavily like ice spiked fists or even ice claws in the sort of swarm of arms that stick out their sides. And then whoops, I didn't want to do that. What did I do? Computer error. I'm not saying there was a computer error. I'm just saying I made an error with my computer. Okay, let's just get back down to where I had my info. Okay, so I'm going to say, well, two of them close with Sir Orlean. Three of them close with Sir Orlean. Two of them close with Alekos. And let's
So
do our
do get gang
rolls.
up bonuses then.
Yeah. And the gang up bonuses are here we are. Okay, each additional adjacent foe adds +1 to all fighting rolls. Ooh, okay. Let's see what happens, everybody. Okay. So, fighting D8. Okay, so it is against your parry. What's your parry?
I'm +7 currently.
7. Okay.
I'm at 6 currently.
Okay, cool. Oh boy. Okay. Oh right. No, they're not. Okay. So I think okay. So two of them fail to land hits on Sir Orlean, even with the gang up, but one of them wallops you. Their die aced for a total of 16.
16 damage?
No, 16 to hit.
Okay.
So that is a hit. And then
That would be a
Get a
raise
raise.
as well, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, you're 7, so 2
Yeah,
raises.
it would be a 9, right? Is that how that works? Parry adds to a 2 or no?
A parry is the number.
Yeah,
the
It is the
target.
There's
number.
the
Okay.
base.
Yeah, so that is
it's
2
4 over
raises.
each raise.
2 raises.
Yeah.
Okay. Plus d6 damage, so 2. And damage once against your toughness. Their damage is... Okay. Let's see what happens here.
So nervous.
Yeah, no kidding.
All
Especially
that
with
talk
2
about
raises
being
on that.
tough, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be an additional
Uh,
2d6 in their damage roll, right?
Yeah. What's your toughness?
15.
Doesn't
Right
get
now.
through.
All right.
Does that have AP?
Yep. What's that?
Does that have AP? Does that have AP?
what you're saying.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it
add
does.
12.
Okay.
What's your armor again?
It's 15 with
15.
6 points of armor.
Okay.
So you can negate up to 6 points of that with AP.
But
You
that's
don't have
still
your,
an 11.
cyber armor up yet, right?
Yeah. So if it did so
AP4. You have 11.
AP4, so it'd be 11. Yeah, it would need to do 11 points. It would need to do 12 points of damage to me.
Yeah, they just miss.
Okay.
Or they
So
just
my
don't
armor.
touch it.
Yeah.
Your armor hits absorbs it, but you do, of course, realize that this is a mega damage attack.
Okay.
Okay. And then the 2 on Alikos. What's your parry again?
My parry's a 6.
Okay. So 1 right on the dot, and 1 gets an 11. So it's 1 raise on that one. Okay, so let's do that single one first. Damage is... What's your toughness?
20 is 20 of armor, 5 of that's armor.
All right, never mind. And then the other one who had a raise.
Because all damage dice can ace, right?
Yeah, all damage that's gonna ace.
Ooh, oh, right. That's not a... Okay. What was it again? It's more than 15?
My toughness is 15, my armor is 20.
Oh,
So we need a
So
16,
16,
with
yeah.
AP of 4, yeah.
okay. Yeah, well, that's... it thuds into you, and nothing happens. Okay. So we're going from aces down, which puts us with Alikos first.
All right.
Alikos first.
Alcos.
Okay, it's me first.
Yep.
Okay, so I will still ask him, do you speak English in broken English, and then do you speak Dragonese in Dragonese, while I summon my first action will be to summon an axe, which I can move to 3 because I have that 2 harmony. Assuming I succeed in this roll, and then I will attack. So first, let's see if I can actually get my axe out. This is a spirit roll. I got it out of raise, so I get +1 to hit of it. Now I roll to hit. Let's see how I do here. That is a 9.
A 9. That will hit.
Okay. So first, I'm gonna roll to steal PP. This is my. Oh yeah. First, let me describe how I look like, because that's relevant for this.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing a Huntsman medium armor, except that I tore the sleeves off. You see that both my arms are completely bare and full of tattoos. So assuming the first thing I did is I tapped a tattoo on my bicep, which is a battle axe cleaving through a skull. The tattoo disappears, and a big axe appears in my hand, and I cleave through him with the axe.
All right.
So let's
see what happens.
Just gonna still PP first. I get back 1 PowerPoint.
Mhm.
I'm doing this because I need to look at my damage, because it's so I do a lot of damage. Let's see, D12, 2D8 plus 2. That is 19 damage, mega damage.
All right.
And how much AP?
Good question.
No AP on this. It's a standard battle axe.
All right. Let me.
Medium weapons generally don't have that much AP.
Yeah.
Actually, let me see. I think blood weapon actually adds AP. Oh, it does add AP.
Don't worry about it. You exceeded the toughness, and
yeah, but no.
Okay, so you managed to cleave through
people's knowledge. Yeah, it also come with AP because it's a battle axe.
So your axe smashes through the ice and into the corpses that are trapped within. Shattering the ice seems to break whatever effect is animating it, and they collapse to the ground, the whole shell sort of shattering off of them and just sprawl out on the ground. Okay, now it's Sir Orlean.
All right. Well, as my free action, I'll summon my Psyblade, and that I'll spend the 1 point of ISP to make sure that it does mega damage.
Okay.
My Psyblade is a glowing sword. It's a Scottish style sword with the basket hilt to it and the blade, and it comes into existence. And then, because it is an innate power, I will also use deflection. And as a free action, we'll see if that goes off. Oh, I roll a wild die as well. So that was I aced the wild die, so that's going to be a raise. So that will mean that my deflection power will work on both ranged and melee attacks.
Nice.
And then I've got 3 in front of me, so I'm going to try to thin the herd a little bit. I'm going to assume that these are supernaturally evil, so I'm okay using my Psyblade against them. I don't think that they're a lesser enemy, given the
Big
fact
assumption.
they're giant load of corpses. But I have the frenzy power, so I'm going to attack twice with my frenzy, and I'll apply 1 die to each of them.
Okay.
So I'm attacking 2 of them effectively.
Yep.
So that's a 5 and a 5 and an explosion. So I'm just kind of double checking my bonuses here, because I don't think that they, they're obviously not technology, so that doesn't help me here. So I get a 5 and a 7.
The 7 will hit.
The 7 will hit. Okay. And then it's going to be D6 and 2D8. Ooh, poor roll. So that's a 4 for damage, but it's 8 AP.
All right. Do you want to Benny this at all?
Yeah, let's spend a Benny. So spend a Benny to re-roll that. And because that was a 1, 1, and a 2 on the dice. Now, when you spend a Benny to re-roll damage, do you get any bonus to damage? I think, was there a rule like that, or am I thinking of an edge?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
All right.
There is an edge that gives you +2 to any rerolls, so spending a penny.
Yeah. The 10 with 8 AP.
10 damage with 8 AP.
Yeah, 8
Okay.
AP. Yeah.
Yes, that'll hit. So your blade cleaves through another one. The same effect as one that Alikos thwarted. It collapses into a pile of frozen bodies. The ice doesn't melt. The ice still stays there. It's still too cold for that.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I would. I'm not sure if these things. I have the champion edge, which would actually give me +2 damage if they're supernaturally evil.
They're not supernaturally evil.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
All right.
So new round, and we draw again.
Okay.
All right. Shuffle. I presume this is shuffling correctly. So, Rob, you have a 5 of spades. Ray, you have a jack of diamonds. And they have a 5 of diamonds. The spades do go first, I believe. Where's my handy little sheet? Yep. Spades go first. So, they'll go last. So, Ray, you start.
I guess I want to cast another thing. It's only the 3 of them left now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bother spending any more points then. I'm just gonna try to cleave mine in too.
Okay. Swinging my axe, hitting the ice people. wasn't their fault.
That's a 6.
To hit.
Yep.
That
I'm a little bit higher than
is. Ooh. I gotta check something because it's one of those things that I can never 100% remember. Is it equal or is it higher? It is.
I think it's equal. I think it's a new it's a target number.
These things are usually
Yeah.
usually that way.
I think it is. I'm not positive.
Well, I mean, if a 4 is the normal number for success,
Yeah.
and rolling a 4 counts as a success,
Yeah.
then I think
Yeah,
it's just like,
that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, you hit.
All right.
There are too many game systems in the world for me to remember everything.
Yeah.
One of them. Even something so basic, because every now and then you find a game where it is exceed. And you're like, why?
Yeah.
Why? No one else does this. Why did you do this?
Yeah.
well,
Like it's not really D&D. Like, I don't care.
That is a 21
All right.
damage.
Yep. So the other one facing you again, down to the ground. Okay, Cerulean.
all right. I'll do the same thing again. I will split my frenzy dice between the two of them
Mhm.
and roll it up. Oh, wow. That's, yeah. Well, I mean, to hit, I aced on 2 different dice. So
Nice.
that's a 15 to hit and a 7 to hit.
Okay, well, the 7 hits.
Yeah.
The 15 also hits with 2 raises.
All right. So yeah, and that's again, I'm doing D8s and a D6, and then the 2 raises would be 2 additional D6s, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's 15, 19 damage on one,
Mm-hmm.
and the one without the raises is 14 damage. Again, AP8.
With AP8. Okay. Yeah, so one of them explodes, basically, and the other one crumbles.
Okay.
So there's one left. No, wait. No, that's all of them.
Oh, that's up. Yeah.
That's
That's
all.
all of them,
Okay. So you are surrounded now by the shattered constructs of ice, making use of the frozen bodies of the inhabitants of this town.
Wow.
You can see up ahead that there is what looks to be a sort of official looking building.
All right. Well, I think now that we know there's things that can attack us, we should move with more haste. Do you agree, Alikos? Okay. Yeah, and then we'll move towards that. We'll move towards that building.
Okay.
Obviously, keeping an eye out for any additional, things that could be happening.
Right. Okay, so you get to it. Walk up the steps to the door. It is a nice big door. You can see that they made an effort to, preserve an aesthetic of it. Right. So it's like iron banded and such. So the door is kind of shut, but Alikos' strength is kind of high. I'm not going to have you make a roll on this. There are a few things that, were we off stream, I might make you roll for, but for the enjoyment of everybody, where it's really not critical, then I'm not going to worry about it. So there's a creak and a crunch as the sheen of ice just breaks off of this thing, and you can see more or less everywhere here. It's covered by at least a thin layer, but often it's a thick one. I did kind of assume that one without saying, but and you're in, it looks like a kind of town hall. It's in pretty good condition. They have nice stone floors. Looks like they worked on a couple of pillars to be here. There's everything has been very well preserved. Much like outside, there are a number of people in here frozen in death.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the receptionist hiding under his desk or the guards trying to usher people in a particular direction, or it's official looking woman staring defiantly ahead of her.
Okay.
Not at the front door.
I'm gonna try to figure what she was staring at. Stand next to her,
Well,
stare in a direction.
The window over there.
I go and look out the window.
All right. Well, the sun is out, so the ice doesn't obscure it too much, or at least you can see enough of it. Or if you don't care about property damage, you can just push it open.
I don't care about property damage.
So the most prominent thing that you can see through here is the tower.
While he's doing that, I'm going to stay close to him, but I am going to search through here to see if there's like, any kind of documents that may, say, like letterhead that would say what town this is, anything like that. Even I don't know whether they're past the point of using paper documents, or whether maybe there's an official stamp or an official seal that I could read or check out to see what might be what this town might be called.
Okay. Blast, of course. Oh, I don't think you'll be able to hear this. So, no one heard that, right? It's just in my own ears.
No, we heard nothing.
Okay, cool. I wanted to translate something, but okay. Okay. Well, it's all in Cyrillic.
Okay.
So I don't know if you can read that or not.
I can't, but I do have the Jack of all trades ability. So what I'd like to try to do is use the Jack of all trades ability. I think it's a smart roll to basically pick up language as as my Jack of all trades.
That's an edge.
Yes, it's an edge.
That's an edge. Jack of all
It's a
trades.
profession edge.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, I got it as part of my hero's journey.
Picking up skills on the fly. So make a smarts roll. After observing or studying some subject, you get a D4 with success or D6 with a raise. Okay, yeah. Can you learn Russian in the Cyrillic
on the
alphabet?
fly? Maybe
On the fly.
I've studied some stuff in my years.
Yeah.
I've been around a long time.
Yep.
Have I seen something like this?
I'll let him try first.
So I got boxcars because I still roll a wild die for this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I roll both and figure out. You're right. So
Yep, you'll pick the highest of them.
Yeah, they both explode.
So that's an 11. So
that's definitely
that's
a
a raise. So
Yeah,
I've got a D6 now in Cyrillic.
Okay. Cyrillic, read and write Russian.
Yeah.
Okay. Make your roll.
There's a chart for how much. I think that's. Hold on, pull that up because I was looking at languages earlier. Because,
I see.
I don't speak American.
American. Yeah.
Not well. At least.
Well, I mean, I put points in it. That's why I had to look up.
Right.
Yeah, D6 is can carry a prolonged but occasional halting conversation. D8
Okay.
fluent.
Oh, I see. That's what you're looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, still want me to make the roll to try to read through these things?
Prolonged but occasionally halting conversation. Yeah, it'll be a bit of a.
These D6s are exploding way better than my D10s are. Well, I guess that's statistically normal. But that's a 9.
Yes, statistically normal.
But I am
A
rolling
9, okay.
way better on my 2D6s than I am on my 2D10s.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
consistently
it's
better.
definitely one of the jokes of the system that like D4 sometimes is the best dice because they explode so much.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay,
but yeah, 9.
With the raise, then, yeah, I mean, you're not a fluent speaker, but with a raise, you're able to figure out bits and pieces. Okay. So what you see about you as Alikos is looking out that window, breaking it open and such. Walking around the room, this is very much like a hall/lobby kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a circle with a cross set of corridors, one of them being the front door.
Mhm.
And then 4 pillars kind of in the center to make a square.
Yeah.
There is, in each of the hallways, one, you see that star symbol
Mhm.
kind of on the front desk. You see a number of murals frozen under the ice, chipping away at it because you can see there's something going on there. There's a variety of them, but they're very I don't know what the word would be. Triumphant.
Okay.
So there's one where on the far side there are these creatures that you would only describe as demonic in appearance. And on the right side, people. Just kind of average people. And then in front of them, there's a figure in blue and with their hands outstretched, and you see it's not hard to surmise a wall of ice in front of them. There are other ones that show bits of the city or the town. And this figure again, sort of prominently displayed in the center. And then there's another one of them standing in front of that, must be that tower with their hands stretched up, kind of towards it.
Okay.
In terms of records, that's not going to be as easy on account of they're all like frozen. inside.
But this is still like they kept paper records. This isn't like computers that are frozen. These are documents that are frozen.
And you do see where you assume the name of the town to be, and it's Bezopasnia Dolina, which translates to Safe Valley, according to Google.
Bezopasnia?
Oh, God, you're asking me to say it again. Bezopasnia Dolina.
Okay. I'm sure I butchered the spelling of that in my notes.
Oh, yeah, well, don't worry about it. As long as you got the phonetics right.
Yeah.
But then any of the other artwork you see does seem to be very much in the fashion of this figure warding away dragons, warding away giant robots, all sorts of things. Again, displaying some sort of command over what must be painted as ice.
Right. So he was originally a protector, is what this is looking
that's
like.
What it looks. That's what it looks to be. Although the more you spend looking at it, it's a she.
She.
Her hair's longer. As you chip away at the ice, the detail does seem to show a woman.
Okay. Well, Alikos, it appears that they originally found this woman as some sort of ice protector of this town. Although, given the current state of it, it looks like she may have either turned on them or succumbed to some sort of form of insanity.
Definitely doesn't look like much protection here.
Well, I do have the name of the town, but I think that if we're going to have any real answers, it's going to be at the tower.
Agreed. That seems to be where that lady was staring at.
Okay. Then let's head there next. My radio has a 5-mile range, and I'm curious if we are still within range of Erin to let her know sort of where we're at.
I'll say yes.
Okay. Just to kind of keep her going. And also, I mean, there's definitely dangers here, so I wouldn't recommend her coming, but she is, the expedition leader, so technically, if she wants to tell us to come back and get her so she can see for herself, she has that right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pull rank on her. I'm going to be respectful of ranks.
All right. She seems very excited by your find.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, would like to see it if it's at all possible.
Okay.
So we will narrate over you fighting off more of these amalgamated ice people.
Okay.
Braving the storm, as it is still a storm on the other side, to get back to the camp. And then bringing her back. And she stands on the edge of the cliff with an expression you've seen many times on her face. It's delightful to see someone for whom wonders and fantastical sights always are a new delight and a new adventure, even at her age. The years almost drop away, and she starts hurriedly taking notes. She asks you to recount what happened and what you've learned, and writes it down in her book.
Okay. How well armored is she?
She has mega damage armor. Let's say, well, through your time in the new German Republic, as you passed through, she was given as a gift a somewhat elaborate looking suit of Cyclops armor by some officials. The the difficulty of being in the human supremacist nation aside, it was still nice. You all kind of held your tongues, and she got this, and it's like, well, it's good. They export to North America as well. That armor is in the core rules, but that's what she's wearing right now.
All right. Good. Well, yeah, because I also think that her expertise might help us figure some of this stuff out. She probably has some of the skills that we don't have.
Oh, yeah. You're going to the NPC to get all the answers, huh?
I'm just assuming she had, spent her skills on things like a cult and,
And
maybe
knowledge and lots of knowledge and more knowledge.
Yeah. Anyways, but also, I mean, she's the leader, and I've got to respect rank and authority.
Yeah, fair enough.
Part of being a Cyber Knight. All right. So so now that we have her, I think we're going to head to the town.
We all good with that?
Yep.
Alikos? Okay. All right. As you reach its base, Aaron sort of looking about. She takes out an instrument or two, old-fashioned ones, as she, she's doing what she refers to as taking readings. She looks up at the sun and moves things around, notes things down in her book. Well, this, kind of looking about from your descriptions, this must be the heart of the city. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? And it's this massive crystalline structure, shimmering itself with an unnatural light that seems to sort of flow and ripple within it. The architecture of it matches what you've seen in the murals. The design similar, but still otherworldly. It familiar-ish, but there's just an edge to it that this is not exclusively familiar.
Right.
There are stairs leading up to what appears to be an entrance.
Well,
You can only go single file.
I'm going to suggest that Aaron stays back for a moment while we check the entrance, make sure it's safe.
All right. Yeah.
And assuming that she agrees to that, we'll head up first. I mean,
I'll take point.
all right. I'm fine with that. I mean,
Okay.
Oh, has enough time gone by? Is it every hour we regain ISP and PPE and that sort of thing?
Every hour of rest.
Every hour of rest. So we have no
Yeah,
rest.
you haven't been doing that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll head on up.
Okay. So you climb the stairs and enter the first chamber, the main hall, as it were. And again, this is not. It is again taller than it is wider, but there's still plenty of room in here to move around. You could fit a large group in here, and it's almost like a audience chamber. In fact, there are stairs that sort of wind up along the edges and go past the ceiling, but there's what looks to be a throne on the far side. There are tables and chairs in rows along sides, forming a sort of middle corridor or middle. You know what I mean? It is a corridor. The temperature drops as soon as you walk in, of course, and make spirit checks. Spirit checks.
Spirit checks.
All right.
That's exactly a 4.
What's that? Exactly a 4?
Exactly a 4.
Yeah, I got an 11.
Okay.
My D6s continue to
You need to
pay off.
fantastic.
yeah. My D6s are like, why bother rolling anything else?
You in here, you feel that energy that sort of assailed you on the way through the storm. Very familiar, similar pressure in your head. You hear joyous laughter. You hear the sound of conversation, music. And as you look around in the walls and the floor, you see reflections, and in it, people celebrating.
Okay.
They're sitting at the tables, they're feasting, In the middle, the far end musicians play, and in the middle, people are dancing. At the opposite end, on the throne, sits this woman in blue. It's armor. A similar sort of design to some of what you've seen in the sort of northern Sovietsky area of Russia here. Okay. Make notice rolls, please.
Okay. I get a 5.
Got a raise. Got an 8.
I am also going to activate my cyberkinetic awareness again. So I don't know if there's any technology happening, but I'm kind of sensing technology within a smarts ×2 range.
Okay, I'll let you know if you.
I mean,
Yeah.
And my supernatural thing is always on. I just always know.
Okay, well, I mean, this is supernatural, obviously.
I figured. Just reminding you, anyway.
You got a raise on your notice roll?
Yep.
Now that you have even though it's a reflection, now you have a clear image of this woman. Sort of slender, angular features. Well, there's something a little familiar about her, but you're having a moment of trying to think. Like, she looks, either it's just one of those weird feelings you get, like, oh, you look like someone I've seen before.
I see that actually said out loud. Hello, do I know you? You look familiar.
There's no response from the images inside the ice.
I say to Orly, do we know her?
No.
She looks familiar.
Maybe. But I'm not recognizing her. Although I'm assuming that I recognize, like, this woman looks like the woman in the murals, right?
It stands to
some
reason that that if you put all the things together, that perhaps this is the same person.
But other than that, I'm not recognizing her.
No, you don't get the same sort of feel off her. But then the image changes, and the celebrations sort of twist and swirl about, and when they reform in a clear picture, you see what must be when the town was frozen. People are running away from the tables. You can see them running towards the door. You can see them being coated in ice, and the moments of their death very vividly. And it seems to be coming from inside here.
Okay. Well, I think it's safe enough for Aaron to come this far, but I think as we approach farther, get her inside, but then we should continue to try to search this place, with her hanging back.
Okay.
So I think we'll invite her in, and then, obviously being cautious of any kind of potential ambush or something. But once she's in, I think the first thing I want to do is so the throne, is the throne physically there and we're seeing images sort of over top of it?
It's like you're seeing the images reflected in it.
Okay, right. So I want to take a closer look at the throne, and I want Elikos to come with me because he actually has a cult.
Okay. It is a throne made of ice.
Elikos, are you able to discern anything more from it?
I'll take a look at it. I'll cast Detect Arcana on it as well.
Okay. The audience wants you to sit.
I see.
Well, I mean,
of our two PCs, there's one person far more likely to do that.
I mean, Legos already asked, do I sit on it? Because he doesn't know better.
I mean, I won't stop you.
No, of course not. Why would you?
Well,
All right,
I'm exploding this.
Nice.
I did
Okay.
I don't know what the point of exploding on a basic counter roll is this much. I got a
You know-
25.
You got a what? Sorry.
25. I rolled 3
Amazing.
6s and a 5. I'm like,
Amazing.
I'm exploding. Oh, nope, still going. The most
And this is
pointless
just
roll to
detecting
explode on.
Arcana, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
like,
yes,
it's
the most
like-
pointless roll to detect to explode on. But this is the
Okay.
one I exploded on.
All right. So this place, and then you sort of get a pulsing sense from the surfaces in which these moments are being replayed.
Mhm.
But most of all, you get a sense of a strong presence of supernatural power above.
Okay.
It is psychic or psionic, and the it is actually a very strong effect, whatever it is, but it's not a big effect, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Erin seems to now be going through the seeing stuff phase as she frantically scribbles down in her book. And he glances over, see it as relatively illegible, but not from rushed writing, but rather the shorthand she uses to avoid rushed writing. It's like a stenographer. Okay, what do you do?
Well, Alikos, if you're sensing it coming from above, I think we should continue on then.
Yeah.
And I think we will. I mean, I think we'll we'll try to head higher up into the tower.
Okay. So you pick a stair.
Yep.
And
I'm going to guess that they all lead to the same place. Like, I'm guessing this is one of those towers.
And following it, they do a nice little helix twist as they go up along the edges of this. The second floor seems to be a more private salon-like setup.
Mm-hmm.
The next floor, private chambers. There's a bed, dresser, etc. But it still continues upward. Now a single stair. And that is where you feel this energy coming from.
Now I'm a psionic, not an arcane caster, but would I be able to tell if we were on a ley line? Like if this tower was on a ley line or a nexus point?
I think so.
All right. And so I guess my question is it on a ley line or nexus point?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
You probably would have been able to tell that earlier. So
yeah.
Retroactively, oh my gosh, this is a nexus point.
Yeah. Okay.
The ley lines go through the tower.
Okay. All right. So let's so again, I don't feel either of us are super sneaky. So as much as it goes against my murder hobo ways, I think we just kind of approach what's up there. I mean I'm gonna have my psi sword out. I mean, it's going to be ready to go because I think that's fair.
I would presume it goes bad already.
If you want to sneak, I can turn to something small, smallish.
Well, I mean, that's up to you. Sneaking isn't really my style. So
I mean, I don't know how to sneak, but I can be small and less noticeable.
we've entered someone's home. I suspect they're hostile, but I don't know it for fact yet. So until we know, I'm not going to go skulking about like a burglar.
Okay. I mean, I could just walk around like normal as a cat.
You're changing into a cat?
I mean, I'm asking Soren if I should.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm never going to tell you how best to ply your trade.
I mean, I don't think I've ever done this before. So let's do that.
All
I turn
right.
myself into a black house cat.
Okay. And go up the stairs.
Go upstairs. So take point.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'll follow along, but not like super close.
So let him go up first as a cat,
Yeah.
and then follow.
Yes.
Okay.
So my tattoos remain no matter what shape I take. So I am a heavily tattooed cat.
You're a what? Sorry, a heavy.
Heavily tattooed cat. My tattoos stay no matter what form I take.
So probably like
Yeah.
patterns in your fur,
Yeah, probably patterns my fur.
very tiny ones.
That's awesome.
So, following the stairs up, the room here is suffused with a blue glow, pulsing regularly. It's it's bigger, it's smaller than the room below, but it's still not particularly small. It's a circular room. And in the middle, there's a crystalline formation that has been radiating this energy. It's large enough and clear enough that you can see within the woman in blue. Shadows in the room made by the blue light twist unnaturally, and you hear whispers filling the air. And this is very similar to the whispers heard in the storm. So when Sir Orlean reaches the top, same situation, and but when he steps in there, you hear a woman's voice, very strong, cut through, and it alternates what it's saying. Sir, oh wait, no. How long does your Jack of all trades last?
Until I use it on something else.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you still have it?
I do.
He still has it.
I believe I do. Yes.
Yeah, he still has it.
I'm not super clear in the words, but yes.
Might speak like it's until you use something else. So you definitely still have it.
Okay. So you're Russian. You're miraculously learned Russian, including being able to understand it spoken, which is remarkable since you've only seen it read.
Years ago,
you don't understand.
Years ago, I traveled.
You saw it on TV that one time,
Yeah, and they were. I was traveling with a caravan that were speaking Russian, and I picked up this and that from my time.
I mean, Jack of all trades. That's
if you
what
speak in
it would
Russian.
do.
I'm gonna cast speak language again.
Okay.
And I just
so
now I speak language.
Yeah.
So now I also speak Russian.
Yeah, I've been around a long time.
You both hear her this voice alternating between pleading for help and threatening destruction. The pleading is impassioned, and you hear fear in that voice, and then it changes to anger and fury. What do you do?
Can I see Alikos? Like, how close is he to all of this at this point?
Oh, he's right in front of you.
I will speak to the woman. There's a barrier, you said. Like, there's like a field of like light, right?
There's a giant crystal ice thing surrounding her, like a cocoon or an egg or something.
But as I peer in, like I'm hearing all these voices. But does she seem to be moving inside, or is she also seem to be frozen in place? Like,
she's frozen in place.
Okay. I guess I'll speak loudly in Russian to the voices that I'm hearing, because I don't quite know whether it's their way of communicating or not. But I'll say, greetings and well met. I am Sir Orlean. We have come to your town to investigate the storm. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't hear anything.
Okay.
She doesn't speak back to you. However, the shadows sort of swirl about, and the glow illuminates them, and a body forms. It's a
outside of the barrier, or outside of
it's a phantom.
Okay.
You can see through it.
Right.
But it is her.
Okay.
Whew. Why are you here again? Are you here to save the town? Are you here to do what I could not?
If there are innocents that need saving, then we will do so.
No, they turned against me. They took my role for granted. Witch, they called me. Monster. They forgot what I have given. She starts to look angry.
In a calming voice, I'll say, I too have encountered people that I only wanted to help and thought me a monster because of my gifts. I have traveled the world and I've seen that more times than I can tell. But I've looked upon this town, and whatever wrongs were committed against you, the people here have suffered greatly for them. Perhaps their punishment has been enough.
They could be punished for eternity and never redeem themselves. And
I'll change back to human form.
okay.
I was the captain the entire time. But yeah, I'll change back to human form, and I'll say, us superior beings need to forgive the foibles of the weak immortals.
Well, and this is when I drew cards for initiative. She seems to take more solid form, but still somewhat translucent. Rob, you got an ace of spades.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ray, you got a 10 of clubs. And she got the jack of diamonds. So, Sir Orlean, you can see that she's pulling together sort of icy shards in her hands. They're vibrating as she seems, well, you can guess, is about to release them at you.
All right. Well, I will, as a free action, my sword's already out, but as a free action, I will use the protection psychic power.
Mm-hmm.
And that will go off with a raise.
It becomes toughness.
So it becomes toughness. And then I think because we're on a ley line, I get an additional +1 from it for a total of +3 toughness.
Okay.
But I'm not going to attack her. I'm going to use my action to plead with her, and I'm going to say, you say they need to redeem themselves, but one can only be redeemed through their actions. If you don't give them the chance to take any action at all, they will never truly redeem themselves. They need the chance to better themselves and make good the evils that were done to you. And I do not think this is a likely chance of working, but I'm going to try.
Okay, persuasion roll.
All right. See, this is going to be the persuasion roll where nothing, like the one of the night where nothing aces.
This is going to be a social conflict.
Yeah.
So use for that.
So I do get a 4.
Okay.
I don't know if this would apply to her, but I do have the Revered Protector ability as a Cyber Knight, which sometimes would help.
Let me look it up just so I remember what it does.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing because...
Okay, I'm going to let you find it then.
Right. So Revered Protector is, of course, the very last thing under Cyber Knight. The hero is a member of the Cyber Knight Order faction and has connections with the group and its allies. She gains +1 to social checks with most folks, and reactions start 1 level higher than normal. The faction's enemies, including powerful monsters, supernatural evil, and villains, will plot the hero's downfall. So I don't know whether I get a +1 to the social check in this situation, but that's up to you.
Let's say yes.
Then that's
you get a 5?
5, yeah.
Okay. She does not seem to be swayed. You do not get an influence token from that. Not yet.
Okay.
You got 2 more rounds to attempt this.
Okay.
In response. Okay. Did you
Okay.
see that in the chat there? Because that's well put. She does not seem to be swayed.
Nice.
Boo.
I love it. I know. I think that's awesome.
Okay.
No boo. Cheers.
So she
Cheers.
releases these ice shards in your direction. Who are
All
you
right.
to tell her not to do something? Okay. Jeez. Okay. Okay. So this is ranged.
Okay. So I have dodge, so she's -2 to hit me.
Well, fine. Then she misses.
All right.
Blasts to she blasts in your direction. You dodge out of the way. Okay, Alikos.
Okay. So I'll use my free tattoo action to summon a shield.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm also not interested in attacking yet. I succeed. And I'll speak to her. I'll just say, my people have been wronged very severely. We've been hunted throughout the eons. By the city of our people has been taken and destroyed and conquered by others. But as superior beings, we must set a proper example. We must not be as these baser people.
Okay, roll your persuasion.
All right. That's a 5.
Okay, well, she did not roll particularly well, so you will get an influence token. So, okay, 3 rounds. None for Rob, 1 for Ray. Okay, top of the round, and let's roll or draw our cards. Rob, you have a 7 of hearts. Ray, you have a 3 of clubs. She has a 9 of spades.
Okay. So that's her.
Okay. So she forms these shards again, launching them this time at Alikos.
I have a shield, so that's -4 for cover.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Where is that? And at the
She'd
same
be
time,
rolling a wild die as well, right? Because she'd be.
Yeah, she's a wild card here. At the same time, a sort of an aura of frost appears on the ground, in the sense that it's already icy, but you see like those little frost bits, and it starts to kind of swirl around her, and she still does not succeed. Your cover is sufficient. Bringing us to Rob.
Well, really don't feel right attacking her because she hasn't actually hurt us yet. So it's like it seems very unchivalrous to harm her. Well, she hasn't. So I will say I'll continue. It's like, I saw the murals of your successes, the murals of you protecting this town. I know that there were those within the town, that turned against you, but there were also, I'm sure, many who were thankful of the lives you saved. You can't punish the good with the wicked. You've frozen everyone, good and bad alike.
Okay, make your roll.
There we go. Those are my die sixes I'm looking at. So that's an 11.
Wow.
That's a success. You get an influence token.
Okay. Does a raise matter, or is that not a raise?
Oh, you didn't get a raise. It's an opposed roll, and you just squeaked by.
Okay.
Okay. So it's Alikos' turn.
Trying to think of what I want to say.
Yeah. This is not how I thought this was going to go, but I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a cyber knight, we have a pacifist as our two characters.
Yeah.
So,
if she were a vampire, this would be a very different situation.
oh yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, a bunch of my powers are about fighting vampires.
Yeah.
So
You can give me the gist of what you want to say too. You don't have to necessarily give me a Straczynski level speech.
I mean, I imagine I'm thinking like all night, like this, like like live and forgive type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go and make a roll.
I exploded, and then I got a 1, so 7.
Okay, what'd you get?
I mean, exploded 1.
And your total?
7.
Oh, all right. 2.
Hey, would you take a moment to actually just tell me how the social mechanics work? Because right now I'm just rolling, but I don't actually know how that works in Savage.
So you're making so this is for longer interactions, right? Negotiation in this case. And you make arguments back and forth over 3 rounds. Roll your skills, and then there's a conflict results table. So 3 rounds of conversation. Technically, each focuses on a particular point or connected points, but the whole thrust of this is you chill out. On your round, you present your character's argument and make a persuasion roll opposed by the spirit
Spirit.
of
Okay.
the target. Each success and raise grants you an influence token.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah, and we're supposed to get modifiers based on how well arguments are.
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
you got it, Annie.
I mean, I'm saying that this is generally just the rules.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I like
you
your
do a stupid
superior
argument. You get
superior
penalties.
being comment. So I think that might have nudged you into a raise. So then at the end we look. So if you have 0 tokens, it doesn't work. 1 to 3, they're not truly convinced, but they'll give minimum support. 4 to 5, reasonably convinced or willing to help. So grants aid, more or less, but under conditions, etc. And 6 plus, eager to help or agree.
Okay.
Now you're both arguing.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's a team roll, but let's see what happens. You have 1 more shot.
Okay.
For the big money. But she's still getting. Oh no, she had her.
Yeah,
turn.
she went first.
Yeah. So shuffle again. Top of the round. Rob, you got a 6 of spades. Ray, a 2 of hearts, and she got a 3 of spades. So Orlean.
One more chance at this. All right, and I'll say, and also, you've trapped yourself here as well. You've obviously haven't left here in some time. If you release them, if you truly feel that they're unworthy, then you could move on. You're a woman of incredible power. Surely you don't want to just trap yourself here where we have likely been the first people you've spoken to in a long time.
All right, make your roll.
Okay. And I'm going to remember to get my +1 for Revered Protector this time. But that's only a 4. Even with the +1, that's only a 4.
Yeah, well, she aced her roll, so
Okay.
It doesn't set you back, but
Yeah. I don't get a success.
You don't get success, but she does react. And
Yeah.
I did not trap myself. The earth turned against me. The power that runs through here turned against me. I was betrayed. And oh, yeah, well, she's going to attack you.
Yeah.
Why not? Oops. Do you have cover from your deflection?
No, I haven't actually put deflection up. I guess I should have, but I have protection, so I have additional toughness. But I do get -2 to hit because of my dodge.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So she misses.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So she has -2 to hit. I'm assuming her target number would be a 4, right? So she needs to do.
Target number is a 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I think you're next, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I say to her, as a show of trust, something that very few people have seen, I will show you my real form.
Ooh.
I'm assuming that there's enough room for me to do so. I'm not super big. I'm like 12 feet long, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll change to my dragon form.
Okay.
Ask her, do you know what I am? What we are?
I have seen your kind before.
My kind has been wrong many times. Worse than you have, and I still live with these people. I trust them. Not every human, not every mortal is the same.
Okay, roll and you get a +2.
+2. I'm gonna spend a penny on this. That's
Good use. Good use.
that's an 8.
An 8? Oh, nope. You might want to spend another penny on this.
Another penny? Sure, why not?
Yeah. Oh, I should have been spending my pennies. Forget about them. I've been holding them the whole
time. It's like
time.
the climax. Come on.
Yeah.
You're never playing this character again. I mean, actually, it might.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I exploded with another 1. That's a 9.
It's 9?
It's a 9 this time.
Okay. Yeah, you got an influence token for that.
Yeah, this cost me 2 pennies.
Okay. So that's the end of the social conflict.
Yeah.
You have 5 of them. So she's reasonably convinced or willing to help. Now, I mean, of course, I'm sure that there's GME things where I could massage it. But I liked that you guys went for the let's talk her down avenue. The combined persuasion of the two of you seems to hit home. And you almost breathe a sigh of relief when the rage on her face starts to fade and the aura withdraws and the ice shards she's been channeling and chucking at you cease. Her image sort of glitches and distorts for a moment. You were right. There is no reason to continue this anger. But I cannot leave here. And she looks to the ice shell and then fades.
She fades or the ice shell fades?
She fades.
Okay.
Maybe Aaron will have a solution to help free her.
You gonna go get her?
Yeah, I'll say to her though that we understand that you cannot leave here, but we're going to continue to try to help you, and then we'll go get Aaron.
Okay. She is more than a little annoyed that she didn't get to see all of this happening.
Yeah, well,
but she takes down your accounts. Well, what are we attempting to do? You want to free her? You want to...
Well, I was hoping that freeing her would free the town. She did say that the earth turned against her, that she was betrayed. So I'm wondering if she pulled too much power from the ley line and something, backlashed, maybe.
It has been known to happen.
I don't know how you undo something like that. Alikos, do you know of a way that we could maybe, restart the proper flow within this ley line? I mean,
I haven't started studying magic yet.
I'm only 3.
Yeah, what do you want from me?
I'm still in preschool.
Wow. And What about you, Lady Erin? Do you have any ideas on what could be done?
Perhaps some, well, yes, some ritual, psionic, magical, something that would free her from this prison. But it's beyond my skill and knowledge what one would be specifically.
This may sound silly, but is there any value in just trying to carve her out? I mean, we have magical implements, magical weapons. Could we try to physically destroy the barrier that holds her?
I don't know anything about the barrier that holds her. And I am not willing to stake my reputation on surviving something like that. What if something goes wrong? What if there are safeguards? There are any number of things that could occur. You're welcome to try it, but I will be 5 miles that way.
Right. Alikos, what are your thoughts on that?
Call in the experts.
I'm just trying a physical attack to free her.
Are you talking about carving into the cocoon, or are we talking about just
Yes.
carving around it, carrying the cocoon out?
No, the cocoon's massive, right? The cocoon's quite large, or how big is it?
Well, it's the size of a human plus, because it, there's maybe a good foot of ice between.
I think that's
between
one of
the top
those
head
times
and the
where thinking of one of my people and thinking of one of your people is quite different. You're right. We should try and do that. What if we brought the cocoon away from the nexus so it had less power to feed it? I mean,
that sounds like someone approves.
Right. And Erin can still back off. Like, she's still happy to back off if she wants to.
I'll shout from the street.
All right. Because
Thank you. Prepare yourselves.
Yeah.
She yells up, I'm out of the building.
Okay.
I'll see you back at camp.
Because I look around and see if the cocoon is like lodged onto something that we need to like break off.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, it's got like a little
yeah,
root that it's
freezes to the
suspended
stone
on.
floor
Yeah.
thing or whatever. Yeah. No, I think we cut around the floor. We try to take a little bit of the floor
Yeah.
with us, not harm the cocoon. Leave the cocoon
Don't touch the cocoon.
intact.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have a dragon, we can have options like that.
Yeah. All right.
You're also immune to ice, aren't you?
I'm immune to any environmental effects.
Right. Right.
So
Radiation,
how-
ice, lightning. I don't need to eat. I don't need to breathe. I don't need to do anything. Yeah, it's called night immortality. That is the name of the trait. It's called night
On the
immortality.
character sheet, you have an ability called Nigh
Called night immortality. Yeah.
Reasons you want to back Savage Rifts Europa, so you too could have access to the Chengku iconic framework. All right. I would like you to make a...
Yeah, this is what it says. Dragons are supernatural creatures thought to be as old as the cosmos itself. Hatchlings mature around 600 years of age, and unless killed, can live up to 12,000 years. They are sustained passively and effortlessly by ambient magic. Eating and drinking simply for pleasure. Dragons are immune to the hazards of cold, heat, hunger, thirst, disease, poison, drowning, electricity, and radiation.
I would, in this case, it can be a supported action.
Okay.
And let's have it an agility roll.
Agility, not athletics? I guess it doesn't really matter to me.
No, you know what? Let's do athletics because you'll have to get it off there and then carry it.
Right.
So whoever's helping gives a plus. Whoever's helping.
I'll turn myself to some kind of larger humanoid.
Roll the
That'll-
same skill.
I have
And
has
if you
better leverage to carry it with.
and if you succeed, you give a +1. If you raise, you give a +2.
And you could boost your trait on this if you wanted.
Yeah,
Alikos,
I'm going
can't
to.
you? Okay.
Yep.
So I'll see if I support successfully. I get a 6 to support, so
Okay.
that's a success.
Yep. So you get a +1 to your roll.
This is athletics, right?
Yes.
Right. First, boost trait. That is a 6, so not a raise. I only get +1 to it.
And I'll spend the points to keep the protection going because it's probably been enough time. Yeah.
That is an explosion on both dice. But then I got a 1 on both dice.
What?
Oh,
That's like
I keep doing that. I keep rolling a 6. This was a 6 and an 8. And they got a 1 afterwards.
keeps
Yeah,
happening
9.
to you.
Yeah.
well, plus I'm giving you a +1, so it goes up to 10.
Yes, 10.
Right. Okay.
So it's a success for the raise.
Wait, who's saying? Peg, why are you saying crit fail?
Because I think we rolled 2 1s as a crit fail.
Oh, right. But you
Oh,
did.
even
You
Yeah.
rolled.
No, but I didn't roll 2 1s. I exploded.
This was
Oh.
after acing.
Yeah, this is after acing. I rolled a 6 and an 8, and then I rolled 2 1s on the explosion dice.
So, yes, but no.
Yeah,
so
I've done
you
it
get
like 4 times tonight already.
I love
You-
that that's a John Doom roll. Some
Yeah.
poor fella has
oh, John Doom right there.
yeah. Poor guy.
This will work its way into Savage Worlds lexicon. Okay. So you managed to gingerly snap it off of its base and hoist it. It's big,
I think
but you made your
make myself into a bigger humanoid type shape. Like
Sure.
a giant
Like
or
an
something.
ogre or something. Yeah.
something
yeah.
with
Something to have better leverage to carry it.
longer arms.
Longer arms. Yep, longer arms.
So yes, with that roll, you are able to get it off there, and you are able to carry it out of the tower. There's no change when you reach the street,
Right.
but by the time you've left the town itself, the storm almost parts for you. And once you've reached the camp, both the storm and the ice shell have faded. She lies unconscious in the extended DB arms of Alikos. And I believe we'll leave it there.
That's great.
Good.
No one got the extra bonus point in that argument.
Oh.
If one of you had told her to just let it go, then I would have let you succeed right away.
I was expecting the opposite. I was expecting us to be punished.
Okay, so that was our scenario. It was obviously partly inspired by a movie involving ice and singing, but I'm not going to name it. The mouse is notoriously litigious, and I don't want to bring any wrath towards Peg in any fashion. But so thank you for watching, and thank you too for playing, and thank you, Pinnacle Entertainment Games, for letting us come on and do this. Yeah, nobody built a snowman. I actually was thinking I would try to have like a demonic snowman guardian. Only for time, I moved ahead for the combats.
I like the golem of frozen corpses, though. I think
that was pretty
cool.
good.
Yeah.
I never got to summon my flaming silver longsword.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, you should have.
Or if there was supernatural.
Yeah. So in terms of content, I used a couple of things from Savage Foes of Europa. So just, for interest's sake, the ice golems were statted off of Iliad demons, but I just reskinned them entirely. I just wanted to pick a nice monster that wouldn't be totally destructive to you. And then Irina Vikova, I didn't, I haven't caught that. Elsa is in Europa. They just went ahead and did it. I can't blame them. She is what's known as a Coldborn. Oh, okay. And that's like a cryokinetic kind of character,
like a burster, but cold.
Yeah, like a burster of cold.
But ice.
It
seemed appropriate.
Yeah.
And then she looked familiar because the woman standing defiantly in the town hall was her relative. Was Spear's sister. I didn't describe her. That might have given it away. That's right. And anyone watching the video, you can still fit this into there. Okay, so I guess we'll start to sign off.
Right.
Do either of you have something you want to plug?
Nope.
No,
I don't actually, but
Okay.
but no, I'd love to do more of this in the future, though.
All right,
This was a lot
very
of fun.
cool. Yeah, Rifts works well under Savage Worlds rules.
I really think it does. I mean,
Yeah, I
Rifts
think
is
it does.
something that I know. I know Rifts quite well, and I don't know Savage Worlds well. But I just even making this character and looking at what the various like power levels of characters are like, I think it's going to work really well in the system.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I'll what's the word? I'll plug myself. So I am Simon. I'll operate a review blog, which has not been updated in quite a while, called the Tabletop Almanac. It's a WordPress one. So www.thetabletopalmanac.wordpress.com. And you can also find me over on YouTube, which is also at Tabletop Almanac. You will see Ray in a number of the actual plays that I've uploaded there. And I do pre-recorded because I have tech issues, and it's just easier to not have those always be live. So if you like what you saw here, you can go and maybe check them out. It's a couple of games. It seems to skew very much towards the dark and horror games, but nevertheless, that will eventually change. And then actually, you could catch me this Thursday over on Dork Tales. I'll be running episode 10 of 12 of Changeling the Lost game that we've been doing for a year. But you can catch the rest of the episodes on YouTube at Dork Tales channel. And then I guess the one final plug, I'm going to put this in the comments, but if you like what you saw and you are of the inclination to go on over to startplaying.games, I do have a profile there, which, I can't put a link in there. Never mind. Well, nevertheless, I do have a link over there. I do have a profile over there. I do host games there, and can always host Savage Worlds. I do custom ones and requests as well as whatever I put up there. So that was my most mercenary plug. The other ones are all for fun. This is to put my kid through college, if that exists by that point. So I don't know, Landauer, if you need to do anything else in terms of the tech, but thank you for handling that. And again, thanks to JM for coordinating this. And thank you to Pinnacle for the great content to use.
Yeah.
And thank you, Palladium, for doing it in the first place, I guss. Why not, right?
And this is
Thank you all for watching. It was a lot of fun. We're really happy to be here. Good night.